Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening and welcome to round 7 of the AOR Hype Energy F1 League on PS4, and we are here at the legendary Spa-Francorchamps for what promises to be another classic 22-lap race featuring some of the best drivers from Apex Online Racing. It's a slightly solemn mood going into this race for me personally as a long-term fan of Formula 1, given the death of Niki Lauda this week, the former three-time Formula 1 world champion, of course, immortalized in the film Rush recently. But hopefully the 14 drivers we have on the grid today will give us a race worthy of the memory of the great man. Now, we are here at Spa-Francorchamps, as I just mentioned, and this is a 19-track corner, the longest track on the calendar and the shortest amount of laps. We're only going to have 22 laps here after our usual 18-minute qualifying session. Now, even though the track difficulty is listed down as easy, I would certainly disagree with that. This is one of the most challenging tracks on the calendar. Such a long lap here. Any time lost at any part of the track is very difficult to regain. So we're not going to have much fanfare. So let's go straight into the qualifying session here at Spa-Francorchamps. And it is dry conditions above the circuit. We have only 14 drivers here tonight. Few absentees. However, the main contenders in terms of the championships are all here. The likes of Lucas, Schnitzel and Jarno, who have really dominated this championship, and the reigning champion Michael, whose chances of retaining the championship at best very unlikely, given that he's now over 50 points behind. So now let's have a look at the championship standings quickly while we are here. And after what has been an absolutely brilliant campaign so far, it is Dominic Hoffman who leads the way on 121 points, with now a 26-point advantage to Lucas Blakely. This is the largest gap we have had at any stage of the season, with 4 rounds to go, including this one, with his teammate Jarno a further 10 points behind on 85 points. The reigning champion Michael on 68 points, and making up the top 5, having had a pretty consistent campaign so far in the low orders of the top 10, is Casper, who moves up 2 places to 5th after his result last week in Germany on 37. And then it's Danny MG, Deagle, Nico, Stay Frosty and Lee Finley after his retirement, colliding with Roy last week, making up the top 10. Now, in terms of the Constructors' Championship, we may have the first championship decided this evening. Renault with a massive 206 points and 109 point advantage to Williams in second, and McLaren 95 points. So in terms of the mass for the Constructors' Championship being decided today, essentially if Renault drivers score 1-2 and Williams and McLaren drivers fail to score enough points between them, then the Constructors' Championship will be decided this evening. However, given the lack of drivers here this evening, I would say the chance of the Constructors' Championship being decided this evening, I would say would be less likely. Going to Monza next week, I think that's where realistically it could be settled, but it is possible this evening. So let's get out on track then. I mean, any drivers, any fans of the sport, even casual ones, know some of the corners on this particular track. The likes of El Rouge, Radion, Huon, Blanchimont, Stavelot, just to name a few. We've been racing here since 1924 in various forms, on and off, and this track barely resembles the original Monster, which was well over 10 kilometers long. This one is only 7 kilometers long, but still the longest track on the calendar. We're on board with Paris, who has been busy racing elsewhere this evening already, so should be pretty fresh in terms of his performances. We're going to be focusing our attention on the title contenders. And Schnitzel, well, it's been a remarkable turnaround in fortunes for the Renault driver. I mean, last season, under a different name, NTG Freak, you may remember. He won one race, and then sort of halfway through the season, he just had enough of it, called it a day. And then after that, he's returned to the fold, and he has been truly remarkable. 3 victories from the 6 races so far this season, more than the rest of the grid combined. And as you can see, sporting a red helmet, which I'm sure many of the drivers will be this evening, in tribute to Niki Lauda. So here is his first run then, and he's got a Red Bull up ahead, so he may get a nice toe off that as he heads through El Rouge and Radion, and then onto the mighty Kemmel Straight. We will see the majority of the overtaking action here this evening. And well, this particular track, it might sound strange, but setting up the car here is not actually that far off the setup for Monza. You want a really low downforce setup, because if you have too much in the way of wind, you will be a sitting duck for overtakes on that main straight. So it's a case of really hanging in there in Sector 2 so that you have the best straight line speed for Sector 1 and Sector 3. And Schnitzel carrying on there. In terms of the tyre compounds, we have our usual 3 tyre compounds available, and it will be the soft, super soft and medium compounds available for this particular track. So unlike some of the other ultra soft circuits and hyper soft circuits, starting on super softs is viable for what will be a simple one-stop strategy here this evening. And more traffic ahead up for Schnitzel. Thankfully, the Mercedes of Nicolas Matteo gets out of the way as he heads out into the entry point to Blanchimont, as Williams Jim Roy sets the early pace with a 1:40.716. So we're into the 40s already, and I think we'll be heading down towards the low 1-minute 40s at least. So let's see what Schnitzel can do as he heads for the bus stop, which of course is which used to go to the left, of course, but now goes to the right, and Schnitzel comes back into the pits, and Jarno starting a lap. So let's have a look where Lucas is, the closest title challenger. Lucas is on a lap, I believe. It's just an out lap. No, it's an out lap, so actually we will go back to Jarno as he heads down the roller coaster ride that is Sector 1 from the La Source hairpin all the way to the end of the Kemmel Straight and the Lecombe chicane. Judging by the sound of the engine not pushing particularly hard after his flying lap, a 1:40.885, so just off the pace of Williams Jim Roy. He'll be looking to bounce back after that retirement. Got caught up in an accident with Lee Finley at the opening set of corners last week at Germany, so he was running really nicely there, but got caught up in that. The championship runner-up from last season, of course. So Jarno is on an in-lap, so let's see if we can catch up with someone else. What about Paris? Paris is in the pit lane. Lee Finley is on a lap. He's quite far off the pace, so this could be an in-lap as well. So it looks like Davidos looks like is pushing. Running out of fuel though. Pushing very hard, in fact. On the medium compound actually. And has done 2 laps on them, but seems to have invalidated somewhere, so he hasn't been able to set the time that he would have wanted. It's all about the Force India of Tough Max still. So this looks like a flying lap. Engine mode up to the maximum 5 hot lap, heading down towards El Rouge and Radion. There's a small stream that runs underneath it. That's why I get the name from El Rouge. Now, of course, this particular track in particular was almost a second home for the great Michael Schumacher, who won here so many times during his Formula 1 career. Took his first victory in his Formula 1 career back in 1992, driving for Benetton. And Niki Lauda won 2 Belgian Grand Prix in the 70s. So it's always been a happy hunting ground for various Ferrari drivers over the years. Kimi Räikkönen, of course, several wins for Ferrari here during his first stint. So Tough Max still heading through Pouhon, which in my opinion is the most dangerous corner on the track now. Very easy to go onto the curbs and spin out of control. El Rouge and Radion, not the challenge they once were with these aerodynamic monsters that the modern Formula 1 cars are these days. It's really tamed El Rouge and Radion, but Pouhon still a pretty dangerous corner. It runs slightly wide out of Stavelot, so may have invalidated, but I'm not sure how harsh the cutting system is at that particular part of it. Probably would have lost time if anything. Through Blanchimont, we should see some great side-by-side action into Blanchimont during the race, and then very heavy braking zone into the bus stop. So what's this going to be for the Force India driver? One of the only Pink Panther running tonight. So Tough will head for the line, and it's going to be P6 for the time being. And heavy use of the super soft tyres so far. Anyone going to go onto the soft? So actually Casper, currently 5th in the championship standings, has gone onto the soft. So that's probably a lap I'd like to see, just to see the relative pace of it compared to those super soft runners, just to give us an idea of the difference in pace, because we're not sure if these laps from the super soft runners are just mere bankers, or they are, you know, oh my goodness, 3 cars flying through there, nearly colliding. I think Hugh Golf was one of them in the Sauber, who's currently P5 of a 141.419. Well, given that we've only got 14 drivers, we may get a bit of a field spread during the race, but hopefully not. Hopefully they all keep closely. And a warm welcome to those of you who have joined the chat. And if you want to leave your respects for Niki Lauda, please use the hashtag Danke Niki. And to answer Julian Tomash's question, I did put the championship standings up earlier on in the stream, but just to remind you, Dominic Hoffman, aka TRL Schnitzel, is leading the championship on 121 points with a 26-point advantage to BGIA Lucas, who's on 95, and then Jarno is a further 10 points behind on 85 points. And in the Constructors' Championship, there's 206 points for Renault with a 109-point championship advantage to Williams and McLaren of 95 points. I mean, considering Renault had, I think, only scored 4 points in the entire season with their drivers last season, it's been quite a turnaround. So let's see what Hugh Golf will do as he enters the bus stop. It looks like it could be an improvement. Heads for the line. It's quite a short dash to the finish line. And no, it's not. It's just slightly slower, so not an improvement. So he's going to have to dash back to the pits on low fuel. And if he runs out of fuel, this is a really long lap. You don't want to run out of fuel qualifying in this one. It'll take a very long time to get back to pits. Anyone else out there at the moment? Flying Finn then, who, if he follows hockey, will be quite pleased with his country's performance in ice hockey this weekend. Got to the world final, I believe. And he goes 4/10 quicker to move up to P5 above Hugh Golf Sauber. Anyone else out there? Let's have a look at Roy. Roy's on a lap now. And Jarno as well. So at the moment, Schnitzel in the pit lane, waiting probably for a final run. So Williams, Roy trying to make amends for the crash at Germany last week, which wasn't his fault, of course. Paris has retired from the session, so I'm not sure what's happened there, but Paris, without setting a lap time, may be starting it from the back of the grid at best. And that's a nice slipstream developing here between the Williams teammates. We've seen this before this season. If anything, Michael getting slightly in the way of his teammate. I don't know how much that compromises him, but hopefully he got a good tow for most of Blanchimont, and this could be an improvement for Roy, and it is a 140.578, so that moves him 3/10 clear of Jarno. And now will he no, Michael goes back into pits, so Roy's not going to repay the favour. So good strategy developing there from the Williams team. Jarno's still pushing hard through Pouon. Casper actually set a time in the end. It was a 141.864. So 1.2 seconds off the super soft pace. So in the top 10 at the moment, but probably wouldn't mind starting in the top 10 on those soft tyres, see if he can finish there. But there are some drivers to come, the likes of Lee Finley and of course Schnitzel, who will be setting surely faster times on the super softs. And now Jarno coming up to some traffic. It's the Mercedes and Nicolas Matteo, and this is going to compromise his lap a little bit. Looking at the fuel level, I think he's probably going to be coming back into pits. No, he's not. So Jarno heading for the line. And what's it going to be for Jarno? Jarno goes P2. Slight improvement. So still P2, but he's now closed gap just over 10. He's going to have to race back to the pits. Big was. He's only got just over 4 minutes of the session to go. As we get a nice ride up through El Rouge and Radion. He's going to take the fastest possible route, you feel. So Michael in the pits at the moment. Most of the field in the pits at the moment, and the Force India Tough Mag still coming out. So Michael coming out onto the super softs. Let's see what they're fitting. All of the top 10 best times on the super softs, so everyone is going for it. There'll be certain drivers who don't typically score points regularly, who will be looking at this race as an opportunity given the short amount of drivers we have here today. So Lucas, Flying Finn all in the pits. Both Renaults will soon be in the pits, and Schnitzel is coming out now, and Lucas is as well. Now Lucas has been arguably the qualifying king of this tier the last 2 seasons. He'll be looking to get another pole position at the moment. Only P4 for him at the moment, nearly 4 tenths off Roy's 1 minute 40.578. Jarno coming back to the pits. Michael on an outlap, Lucas as well. Where is Schnitzel on the track? Because we're going to try and follow these drivers. Michael just heading through towards Stavolo. So Stavolo will be doing his lap first. Jarno cuts the corner. He's going to be pushing it, you know. Takes a while for the animation to kick in, so he's going to be really pushing it to get a lap done. He's got to get an outlap still, so Jarno may have been better off going into the pits. He wasn't going to improve that much. So yeah, Jarno may struggle to get around for another lap time here, because it takes the best part of 1 minute 40 seconds to get, and that's a qualifying speed. So here we go then. Michael then, first of the top 5 on his final lap. So let's go on board with the reigning champion. Heading down towards El Rouge and Radion. It's such a thrill ride. This particular section. I can't even imagine what it's like to do this in real life, full pelt in a Formula 1 car. There is a Sauber up ahead, warming up its tyres. Michael will be hoping it gets out of the way, getting a decent tow off it. Into the end of Sector 1, Michael goes through Lecombe and then out towards Rivage. So this is runs slightly wide, kicking up the dust. That wouldn't have helped his cause at all. Locks the brakes, probably unnerved slightly. And has he backed off already? This is a bit scruffy lap from the champion so far. As he heads down towards Pouon for what will surely be his last flying lap here today in this qualifying session. Towards 7, we'll see if there's any improvement in time. So it's yellows in Sector 2 and Sector 3. And there's more traffic up ahead. Now it's Williamson Roy who's going to now try and give a tow to his teammate, which may make up for the scrappy nature of Sector 2. Let's see how this works out. Will Roy actually be going for another run? Oh, the Williams team working very nicely, and that worked a bit better, I think, than the last time. They sort of blocked each other slightly last time. And I think Roy will be going onto lap. Here comes Michael then, heading for the line. And Michael, it makes it onto the front row of the grid. Now Roy's going to start his lap. And Michael's surely going to give him a tow as well. So Jarno and Schnitzel is just going through Radion and El Rouge. Jarno is on his outlap. And Lucas is heading through Blanchimont. Just have a look at Michael though. Because Michael, I think, is going to be giving it no tow to Roy at the moment. So let's go back to Lucas. Round the final corner he goes, heading for the line. And what is Lucas going to do? And, well, has he invalidated somewhere? It's only P5. Actually, he did improve by 2 tenths. But now, that is the end of his qualifying. So Lucas will be outside the top 5, and that's going to be good news. But Schnitzel has made a mistake somewhere. So it looks like the door is open for Williams 1-2 in this qualifying session. So Schnitzel and Lucas will start next to each other on the grid. Jarno's still pushing extremely hard. So now Roy has an open goal at this pole position, it seems, unless Jarno can do something about it, because it looks like once again the Williams teammates are going to use the slipstream on Blanchimont. This has been an absolutely brilliantly orchestrated tactics in this qualifying session by the Williams team. They probably would have liked a few more sessions like this, but it has gone perfectly to plan, especially with their competition not up to scratch. Michael gets out of the way, and that was about as perfect a tow as you can get. And Roy will go through the final corner, the championship runner-up from last season, being helped by his championship rival from last season. Heads for the line. What's it going to be? And it's no improvement. So looks like the only man who can deny Roy and Michael a front row lockout for Williams is going to be Jarno Opma. There's two cars up ahead. There's a Ferrari Flying Finn, and I think there's a maybe Ruben. So yeah, the Ferraris are actually doing. So actually, I'm going to have a quick look at this. Flying Finn. No, it's not Flying Finn. So it's actually Ruben heading through the final corner. The Renault just behind, but let's go straight back to Jarno. Jarno heads for the line. What's it going to be for Jarno? Heads for the line, and it's P3 only. But Ruben has moved up to P4. A superb qualifying for Ruben. Only 13 points so far this season, but that could be, well, his best qualifying of the season so far. And that is where our session will end. So, quite a surprising session there. No Renault on the front row of the grid. So we'll go through this qualifying result in a few moments. So it's Williams Jim Roy who takes pole position by the narrowest margin to his teammate. And then Jarno, well, he has an opportunity to cut the gap to his two title rivals if he can convert that third place. Then Ruben in fourth, no doubt the star of qualifying. Schnitzel in fifth, Lucas in sixth, Hugo in seventh, Flying Finn in eighth, Lee Finley in ninth, Nicholas Matteo in 10th. And then outside the top 10 we have Max Still, Casper, Daridos and Paris, who was the only driver not to set a time. The field spread 1.7 seconds, and between the super soft runners to the top 11, a second. So a pretty close qualifying session. But Williams, well, absolutely brilliant tactics using the slipstream there, and both aiding the drivers. Claire Williams will have a huge grin on her face right now. And it's going to be dry conditions, and well, it looks like there's a car, a weird glitch going on in the background, but hopefully nothing. So dry conditions then. Be interested to see what tyres they pick outside the top 10. Now this is a simple one-stop race here, only 22 laps. So they'll be looking to stretch the super softs to at least lap 8, and then going on softs to the end of the race. Tyre wear isn't particularly a big issue at this track, but it's full throttle for quite a bit of the track here. 70% of this lap is taken at the maximum attack. But the long straights, in particular the two DRS zones on the start-finish straight, and between Radion and Lecombe, and then Blanchimont flat out as well. So there's plenty of high-speed action going for it, and it's a very short run to turn 1, 271 meters from the start line to the La Source hairpin. It makes you a bit of carbon fiber flying off there. Quite a tight turn 1 here. I mean, who can forget some of the incidents we've seen at La Source hairpin over the years? Grosjean and Alonso, and of course Alonso getting caught out last year by Hulkenberg, smashing into the back of him and landing on top of Charles Leclerc's Sauber. So hopefully we won't see anything like that. So then, Roy and Michael leading the field away. Williams 1-2. Well, this is like a throwback to the 1990s when Williams had cars that were not lapping 3 seconds off the lead pace like they do today. So let's have a look at the tyre choices for those outside the top 10. Well, 2 soft runners, Max and Paris, and then medium compounds for Casper and Daridos. So they could play a role in the race because, you know, depending on when the pit stops take place, you know, you don't want to fall into that traffic. Because, you know, that could make all the difference between getting an undercut or an overcut to work here. Well, Jarno, he'll be happy that there's a Ferrari between himself and his teammate Schnitzel. He's sort of fallen away slightly in recent races. A 5th place at Germany last time out after winning in such brilliant fashion at the British Grand Prix, his only victory of the season so far. He's 36 points behind with 4 races to go, so really he's got to have a big race here today. I think he's really got to aim to win this race if he can. But he's got 2 very quick drivers ahead of him who will do their best to stop him. The top 2 from season 16, Michael being the champion and Roy, who is a Red Bull, was the championship runner-up. Jarno won't be phased about that. He's had plenty of victories at this level of Apex Online Racing on PS4. As the grid heads towards the bus stop to complete their formation lap, trying to get a last bit of burst of heat into their tyres by braking into this corner. Well, very intriguing battle to look at on row 3. That is Lucas and Schnitzel, the top 2 in the championship currently. Will there be any contact between them? Well, if that were to happen, that could potentially blow the entire championship wide open. So we'll keep a close eye on them as the grid forms here at Spa. Well, green flags waving. We are just about ready for the start of this race here at Spa-Francorchamps, one of the greatest tracks on the calendar. So we're just waiting for the 5 red lights. Race control happy, and we're about to go underway for round 7 of the season. Lights out and away we go. Watch out for the Renault behind the 2 Williams. It's a pretty steady start from the 2 Williams drivers. Roy covers off his teammate. Jarno looking half a move down the inside. Ruben to the outside. And watch out behind. Hugh Golf has made a great start, up to 5th place already. The 2 Williams almost going side by side, heading down towards the run-up to Eau Rouge and Radion. The top 4 getting through safely. Any contact behind? Will they all get through safely? Yes, it looks like they do. So Ruben has kept his place, but Hugh Golf has clearly made the best start among top 10. And look at that, trying to go for around the middle, 3 wide as we head into Les Combes for the first time, and Roy will cover it on the outside, and the top 3 is as you were. Ruben just behind, Hugo 5th, Schnitzel 6th, and Flying Finn in 7th. Lucas has dropped down to 8th, so he's had a nightmare of a start on the open lap. Let's go on board with Michael to head through Rivage for the first time, heading down towards Pouhon. We'll go on board with Jarno as they sweep through Pouhon for the first time. Cold tyres, they want to keep away from that green painted strip on the outside, because you can easily oversteer the car because of that. And Jarno then keeping a close watch so far. So the top 10 on the Super Softs. And we'll have a look at the winners and losers after the DRS is activated, but for now, less than a second covering the top 3. Both Williams actually going a little bit wide as we head through Blanchimont for the first time here in Belgium. Look at that, Michael getting a good toe off the back of Roy. Seems to have a little bit more straight line speed at the moment. The toe is absolutely mighty at this track. Michael, well, his chances of winning the championship to retain it quite slim at this stage, but he will give it his all. That's a great go to it, and there's contact behind between Lee Finley and Max still into last corner. So the soft running Max still trying to get some places. Lock of the tyres from Roy. So no DRS at the moment, but the top 5 actually getting a little bit of a gap away from Hugo Sauber, who ride on board for Eau Rouge and Radion. And Michael is going to surely have a run at his teammate here. Heading onto the Kemmel Straight, the crowd rises to watch it, and Max still out of the race. May have had an incident at Eau Rouge, and Schnitzel is also seemingly passing for P4, and yes he is. So it is Williams 1-2, Renault 3-4. And Lucas, well, unable to regain it. Oh, Schnitzel going slightly wide. So Ruben, oh, and in the background, Lucas nearly losing it from the exit of Les Combes, but then getting slowed down. So at the moment, this is good news for Schnitzel's championship. He is actually extending his lead in the championship as it stands. Lucas battling with Flying Finn. We'll have a quick look at him soon. So at the moment, the lead changes hands. Michael, as we saw several times this season, leading Roy. This time teammates, unlike last season. Jarno keeping a watching brief. They'll be looking to try and stretch out this super soft stint as long as they can to make the second stint on the softs that much easier. But Ruben, keeping a watching brief. Hugo really falling behind those. He's going to be very vulnerable when they get onto the DRS, which will be activated at the start of lap 3. I'm going to have a quick look at Hugo to see what he's up to. He's now got the likes of Flying Finn and Lucas for company. Oh, Lucas goes late on the brakes, gets it slowed down, but he looks a bit frustrated already, not able to challenge. And now look at this, the 2 Renaults look very close. So the top 4 just breaking a little bit away from Ruben, who's just within DRS range. Let's see what Roy can do. Can Roy come back at his teammate with the DRS activated? Up Eau Rouge and Radion they go. Actually, Michael had a brilliant exit out of that. Let's go back to Schnitzel. Schnitzel getting close to his teammate. He is getting it slightly closer. But we're going to go to Lucas, because Lucas is looking to make a move. Or maybe go for a double overtake. Is there going to be room for the 2 of them? And Flying Finn gets ahead of Hugh Golf. A great move there. And Nicolas Matteau just played. Lucas had half a chance of a double move there, but actually got boxed in. and it compromised his exit, nearly putting him in the clutches of Nicolas Matteo as they came out of the comms, but he's got it stopped again. Top 4 as he were, but this is not good news for Lucas. He is losing time. He's almost 4.5 seconds behind the lead already. And those sort of small margins of this race can make a big difference as New Golf needs to have a shape in Huon. So Lucas is going to have to try again. Seems to have much more speed than Hugh Golf at this stage of the race, but you know, P6 out of DRS range, so it's 2 by 2 at the moment. 2 Williams, 2 Renaults and 2 Ferraris in the top 6. So let's go back to the front briefly just to see what's going on. Roy trying to chase down his teammate again. They were slipstreaming each other to do each other a favour in qualifying, but now this is all about racing. Realistically, neither driver in the fight for the championship, so they're not going to worry about what the Renaults are up to, but they're going to try and win this race here today. Jarno now has his teammate to contend with Ruben and Flying Finn not far behind them as well. Flying Finn is already within DRS range of Ruben though, so these two Ferrari teammates may be coming into combat very shortly. So Roy is kept within DRS, and if this race is this close all the way through, we're going to be in for an absolute classic despite the reduced field for today's race. So can Roy get a bit closer? And yes, he's definitely closer this time. Got a better exit out of Radion. May have a chance, but actually Michael's straight line speed absolutely fantastic. Going to get the telemetry on so we can see what their battery modes are like. And what about Lucas behind? Did Lucas get anywhere near close? No, he did not. Paris is dropping further behind actually. 2 seconds off P12, and the first time penalty of the race goes to the Red Bull driver Davidos. Meanwhile, we will go ahead because look, the 2 Renaults have swapped positions. I don't know if Jarno made a mistake or that was a tactical move, but surely not, because Jarno's in the title by himself. So Schnitzel moving up to P3. As it stands, Renault will not win the Constructors' Championship. The 2 Williams, though, getting very close up ahead. Ruben still hanging in there. So the battle for the lead is actually almost the top 8. Because the top 8 all within DRS range of each other. Nicolas Matteo slightly further back. But let's see if Schnitzel can get any close to the Williams as we run up to Longchamp. Just over 0.6 of a second behind Roy ahead. Building up maximum speed, well over 200 miles an hour as we hit the brakes for the bus stop chicane. Not quite close enough yet for a move, but the Ferraris are getting a bit close, and there's a Mercedes going into pits, and that is S2V Nicolas Matteo. I wonder if he's had a bit of an incident, maybe hit the back of Lucas early on. May have compromised, and then well, Jarno's dropping back from the top 3. Seems to have a few issues. As Schnitzel, the championship leader, now has the Williams cars in his sights. In real life this would be a no contest, but this is not real life. This is equal performance machinery. And Schnitzel then, we have half a look at the driver here. No, not quite close enough. Of course, Roy getting the tow and DRS from his teammates. That makes it that much harder. Not the best exit out of the comms. Will Schnitzel look for a move to the inside? No, doesn't even think about it. Not close enough. Top 3, slightly getting away then from Jarno, whose race pace surprisingly not what you would expect from what we've seen this season. If anything, he's dropping back towards the Ferraris. And also surprisingly, Lucas is not able to make an impression on the Sauers, but the DRS very much cancelling some of these battles out somewhat. So we need to see maybe some gaps forming. Although in a second we may see some more overtakes. So let's have a look then at the winners and losers so far in this race. Well, one big loser, of course, is the first retirement of the race, and that was Max still before seeing there. 2 places gained for Schnitzel, so he's had a pretty solid start to this race. 2 gained for Flying Finn, 3 gained for Casper from the back row of the grid. So he's had a pretty good one. And 2 gained for the Red Bull driver. Probably the biggest loser of those still driving, I would say certainly Lucas in terms of the title battle. He's lost 2 places and hasn't been able to regain anything back. And one of the Ferraris goes, oh, Lucas getting side-by-side action here, trying to get past one of the Ferraris in the pits. Ruben pitting, so it's quite early for the, oh, and it's a time penalty for Ruben. Speed back quite early for the super soft tyres. They must have been absolutely wrenching the life out of them, because this is slightly earlier than I expected. I was expecting around lap 8 for these particular tyres. There are 2 battles going on. Schnitzel got a really good exit up ahead, but we're going to stick with this battle here. Paris is out of the race. Roy is back out ahead of him, and now Schnitzel looking to put the champion and the champion-elect perhaps under pressure. Lucas up to P7. Ruben in the pit lane with a 5-second time penalty, and that's ruined his race. Those 5 seconds will be really hard to regain back. So Paris out of the race. I think he had an incident with Norwegian Radion, so that's 2 retirements then, 12 runners. As you can see, the battle for the lead, fast and furious. Jarno dropping nearly a second out of view. Schnitzel trying to get past Michael. So Roy got the move done at Lecombe. Now trying to scamper away. So it looks like the Supersofts are going off slightly quicker than I expected. And look at that, all out of shape Michael, and this is going to give Schnitzel half an opportunity to go for a move of Longchamp. They're going to go side by side. Will he go to the outside or the inside for the bus stop? Michael placing the car beautifully to prevent the move. He's going to have to cover the inside though, but no, he's not actually close enough for a move. So he kind of broke and there goes Michael then into the pits. So the Renault's up to P2 and P3. The battle looks like to be carrying on then between Lucas and Hugo. So here goes Lucas then, up to P5, back to his starting position. And there's been more pits on. Michael, Flying Finley, Lee Finley, all pitting for a fresh set of tyres. And now Schnitzel doesn't actually have DRS because of those pit stops, so Roy has a bit of breathing space for the first time in this race. So let's have a look at what has been put on. All medium compounds, so no one opting for the medium compound. So that's interesting. Can any of these drivers stretch it out a bit further and go onto the soft rubber? Because that could be critical for the race, because the soft tyre in the second stint quite strong compared to the medium compound, of course. So your order is Roy, Schnitzel, Jarno, Lucas, Hugo, yellow's in sector 3. What's happened? Someone has had an off somewhere. Oh, it's Michael. Michael has had an off, I think. He's dropped down to P8. There were yellow flags and I saw his car rejoining the circuit. May have been Michael. I couldn't tell for sure because he was already back up speed, but he looks a bit slower at Lecombe. So we'll have to wait and see. 5 pit stops so far for those still running, and then the top 7, none of them have pitted yet. We'll have to keep an eye on that. So Hugo, very close. Be followed by Casper. So let's see if Casper can do. Casper on those mediums, of course, will be going very long into this race. So it doesn't look like we're going to get any rain, but if there's a safety car later on in the race, it could really favour him. Yellow's in sector 2 again. And is it going to be round the outside for trying to defend at Hugo? He'll have the inside for the bus stop. So Casper will have to go round the outside of the bus stop. They have the inside for the final corner, and he takes the position. A brilliant move there, and more pit stops then going on, and it's Williams Roy, the top 2 pitting then. Williams versus Renault pit crew. Who's going to come out on top, and where is Michael going to come out? And it's soft tyre. Oh, I thought it was soft tyres. Oh, and Schnitzel's been held in the pit lane for a long time. Will that give Michael an opportunity to retake the lead? He rounds the first corner. There's his teammate. He's got to get up to speed. The Schnitzel has lost a place because of getting held in the pits. And actually, he's lost a place to Flying Finn and may lose a place to Nicholas Mateo as well. So this pit stop's been a complete disaster for Schnitzel. He's going to try and retake place. And Ruben is out of the race. So that's 3 retirements now. Everyone's going to be scoring points in this race. Quite big gaps forming. Jarno's not pitted yet, and of course those drivers up ahead have not pitted, so Schnitzel badly held in the pit lane, and that may give Jarno an opportunity. If he pits now, he could certainly undercut his teammate if Nicholas Mateo runs really wide. Roy has been overtaken by Michael, so Michael must not have been the driver who went off then, because he's obviously in a net lead position at the moment. Schnitzel, well, he did all the hard work to get into second place, but then got badly held in the pit lane. Now he's actually struggling to get his tyres up to temperature in the dirty air of the Mercedes ahead. So it's going to be interesting to see where Jarno feeds out, because you would imagine he's about to pit. So that will give Casper the lead of the race. And they, of course, are 2 of the drivers who started outside the top 10, so they will not be stopping for a while. Let's see what Jarno does. Jarno will then peel off into the pit lane. Now, will he be able to get out ahead of his teammate? Going onto the power, struggling to get the car slowed down. Michael and Roy already heading to the final corner. Schnitzel, well, his teammate going to try and get ahead of him. What tyre is it going to be? Oh, it's a set of softs for Jarno. Oh, Jarno's been held. Oh, that's a bit of a glitch, actually. Actually, Jarno must have had a pretty poor in-lap because he's actually going to get overtaken by quite a few cars. But he has opted for the soft compound. So he will have the best tyre compound. But look at that, Lucas on the soft tyres himself has undercut Jarno, so he's ahead. So Lucas may well have put himself back into contention for a podium here. He's going to try and get past Schnitzel. The championship contenders going head to head. Is there a gap at the inside? He'll have the better traction. Going into braking into Lecombe, and he sweeps around the outside with ease. He was able to brake that much later, and that made the move that much easier. So Schnitzel in a bit of bother. That time he lost in the pit lane, proving to be very costly. So critical phase now for Lucas. He's got to get on with it and try and get past Nicholas Mateo and Flying Finn as soon as he can and get after those two Williams. Because at the moment, Lucas getting past those two cars, he will have a net third place position with Casper and Dawidas pit up front. And Michael, in fact, has already caught the Red Bull. So Dawidas may be overtaken very shortly, but if Michael gets trapped behind that Red Bull even for half a lap, that could prove costly for him. The main battle on track is surely going to be for P5 for the time being, and that is Flying Finn, Nicholas Mateo, Lucas, and the two Renaults of Schnitzel and Jarno. As it stands, Renault will not be winning the Constructors' Championship. And we got some team radio from a very angry Ruben, blaming his teammate for that incident, put him out of the race. At least that's what I get from that. As Lucas sets the fast lap of the race with 1:44.382. Let's have a look just briefly at Michael, because Michael now on these fresh medium tyres with his Williams teammate close behind. They really like using the toe on each other. Now chasing down. This is the battle for P2. Not the best exit from Michael. Will he have the opportunity to make an overtake here? I want to go to Flying Finn. I want to go to Nicholas Mateo immediately. Is Michael going to go for a move here? Yes, he is. He's going to go late on the brakes, side by side. And it's an easy overtake there. I'm sure the other Williams. Oh, and there's contact! Big contact behind. Flying Finn. Well, it's Flying Finn, Nicholas Mateo and Lucas coming together at Lecombe, and down to P11 he goes. And Ruben may say that's karma, but I'm not going to say too much on that. As Roy passes out as well. Has Lucas got any damage after that? He's battling Schnitzel hard. The two Renaults wanting to make up for what has happened in the pit stops. It hasn't really worked out for them. In terms of the fight for the lead, it's looking great for Williams at the moment. So we've got Lucas, Schnitzel, Jarno chasing down Nicholas Mateo, who clearly doesn't have quite the pace. Well, judging by the cornering speed that Lucas has, he probably got away without damage. We didn't see what happened. We saw a little bit of the aftermath. Nicholas Mateo got away with it, but Flying Finn obviously coming off far worse than the other two drivers. So Lucas now, he's got to get this move done, because if he doesn't, he's about to be swamped by the two Renaults behind. Well, surely it's not going to be a free wide situation. There's not enough room for 3 cars into the bus stop. We'll keep them all with Schnitzel and see what happens between the 2 cars ahead. If Lucas messes up this corner, he's going to be very vulnerable. Takes the inside to Nicholas Mateo, and they're going to be 3 wide on the main straight. Lucas with that soft compound has a better tyre traction. And now Jarno's going to try and dive down the inside of Nicholas Mateo. Nicholas Mateo losing 3 places in 2 corners. Wow, unbelievable stuff there. The 2 Williams scampering off into the distance, and now Schnitzel has set sight on his chief championship rival, and his other championship rival is right behind him. So the top 3 in the championship within a second of each other. Lucas is going to have to try and cover the inside. Oh, what's happened there? Whoa! Flying Finn is out of the race, but Schnitzel just let his teammate pass, where he's got the better tyres at this stage, so maybe he sees Schnitzel putting more pressure, maybe to take more points away from Lucas. That could be a smart decision from him. And this is all playing into the hands of the Williams teammates, who are really starting to... Oh, and Schnitzel nearly losing it. Gets it slowed down. So now Lucas and Jarno battling out for P5. Schnitzel on those medium tyres, struggling a little bit at the moment, but they will come back to him. And the soft running Jarno and Lucas, their tyres will wear off later in the race, but Jarno and Lucas ran a little bit further on those super softs. And will it pay off for them? We will find out. We'll have a look at the battle for the top 2. keep an eye on this battle because Renaults, for me, clearly have a bit more straight line speed than Lucas. Ever closer into the bus stop. We are half distance then in this Belgian Grand Prix in Tier 1 of PS4 Apex Online Racing. Zarados pits then, only 10 laps he managed, well 11 laps on the medium, so not as far into the race as I expected. Casper could be on for a really good point score here. I'm going to go to the front because there's going to be a battle for what will be the net lead of this race. The two Williams going side by side, heading out onto the Kemmel Straight, and Roy retakes what will be the net lead of the race. We'll go straight back to Jarno. Is Jarno able to challenge Lucas? No, not close enough. Powers down the car. It's a 5-second gap between the two Williams drivers and Lucas. So as it stands at the moment, Lucas will be cutting the championship point of Dominic Hoffman to back under 25 points. Every point at this stage of the season will be so important. Schnitzel. Both of his championship rivals, Nicholas Matteo getting all out of shape behind as Lee Finley moves up to P8 in the board. Not many penalties so far. Darados had one penalty. So at the moment, it is all being decided on on-track action. That is what we come to see. See how the exit speed of Lucas, and that's alright. Oh, Hugh Golf retires. What happened to Hugh Golf? Well, we're about to find out. It's the yellows and oh, he's pulled off the circuit, so I'm not sure what happened to Hugh Golf, but he would have been on for guaranteed points. So I don't really understand retiring in that way unless he had some contact, but even so. We now only have 9 runners here. I can't remember the last time we had this little runners in a Tier 1 race. So the battle for the lead between the two Williams drivers carries on into lap 13. Now that Lucas and Jarno have settled down, they are actually beginning to close the gap to the Williams drivers. They've taken 6/10 of a second on that last lap. And of course the two Williams drivers are fighting pretty hard, so that's taking more time out of them. Roy's not going to defend this too hard. That may be a sign that they don't want to lose too much time battling each other. So this is a very interesting situation. The two Williams drivers on the medium compound, 4.8 seconds ahead of Lucas and Jarno, who are on the soft compound. Schnitzel doing really well to keep in touch, and well, Nicholas Matteo, to be fair to him, he's keeping within a second of the drivers ahead of him, so he's not out of the fight for a podium either. And if something happens to some of the drivers up ahead, then we could get Nicholas Matteo on the podium, which would be quite a turnaround. Did have a podium at Austria, but since then had a 5th place at Britain and then retired in spectacular fashion at Hockenheim last week. 4.5 seconds now the gap. Lucas and Jarno, if they want to win this race, they're going to have to start getting on with it a little bit. They've got to start making good use of that soft rubber, because eventually it is going to start to go off. At the moment, they will have better pace in the mediums, but that will not last forever. Casper carries on into his 14th lap, so he's clearly hoping for a safety car so he can piss. So at the moment, Casper will probably come out around P7, but if he can stretch it out, he might even get a shot into those super soft tyres. And he'd have incredible pace in the last part of the race, but he may not have the track position, he may run out of laps depending on when he pits. So we'll see when he pits, and Roy once again flying through Origin Radion, trying to get ahead of his teammate. It's a real ding-dong battle between these two Williams teammates. And we're going to go right behind because this is getting very tense in the battle for P4. And Jarno pulls to the right, and he will move up to what is a net 3rd at the moment. So Jarno getting ahead of one of his title rivals. Lucas now in a Renault sandwich. Your top 9, because that's all we have now. Casper, Michael, Roy, Jarno, Lucas, Schnitzel, Nicholas Matteo, Lee Finley, and Darados. But whoever finishes this race is clearly going to have a good day, because it's 4 points guaranteed at the moment. We've had 5 retirements, which is quite a high rate, but then again we had quite a few retirements last week as well. We had had 6 retirements and 1 disconnect last week. So here at Spa-Francorchamps, we are entering the middle part of the race now. Only 22 laps, less laps than any other track on the calendar, and indeed in the F1 2018 game, not including the short circuits, of course. To the top 2, they are slowly being caught by Jarno and Lucas. So if Jarno can break away from Lucas, then Lucas may be somewhat vulnerable to Schnitzel, and Casper then pits, and it's going to be for soft tyres. He will have the freshest rubber at the end of the race. Where would he feed out? His Haas teammate is just coming round towards the final corner. And Casper will come out in P7. So that is a superb opening stint. And look, just down the road is the likes of Nicholas Mateo and Schnitzel. So I tell you what, Casper is not out of the fight for a podium yet. And at the moment, he could be on for his best result of the season. So it's been a brilliant first stint from Casper to make that alternate strategy work in that way. Only problem is, it's going to be up against a lot of cars who are going to be slipstreaming and DRSing each other. So it will be very difficult for him to get past this. He's going to have to maybe rely on some mistakes. But Nicholas Mateo has done more laps on those mediums than anyone else. He made a very early pit stop. He's done 10 laps on those mediums. So Casper may find Nicholas Mateo not that difficult to pass, because he is out of DRS range of the Renaults now as he drops off in pace. And then, well, he may be then heading up towards the likes of Schnitzel and Lucas. Casper's best result of the season was 5th place at China, and he was 6th place last week at Hockenheim. So he's had a really consistent season. He's outside of the top 3 in the standings. He's the only other driver who's scored points at every single race. So he's done a great job this season, scoring very strong results for Haas. As the 2 Williams teammates continue their raging battle, and now Jarno within 3.3 seconds. So little by little, this top 2 battle for the lead may become potentially a 5-way struggle. Look, and behind him you see Jarno, Lucas and Schnitzel closing the gap. And it looks like Nicholas Mateo's had an absolute shocker of a lap, because he's lost a ton of time. And Casper, will he go for a move to the inside at Lassour's hairpin? No, he's going to be smart about it. Wait for the run down the Belgian radio and then just get an easy overtake on that main straight. But before we have a look at that, let's have a look between. No, Schnitzel not really that close. So let's have a look then at Casper. This should be a pretty routine overtake, because Nicholas Mateo seems to have taken the best out of those mediums already, and so Casper moves up to P6. I don't think Nicholas will have anything to fight with. He doesn't even have a look at coming back at him. Casper up to P6, 4.2 seconds behind Schnitzel. Can he close them down and get onto the podium? So that could have an effect on the championship. If Schnitzel gets caught and overtaken by Casper, that could cost him a few points. But now the top 3 are now separated by 3.5 seconds. 2.8 second gap between Roy and Jarno. So the gap is coming down. And actually, the pace of Jarno and Lucas, Schnitzel is struggling to live with them, but of course he's on that medium compound. He's going to be hoping these soft tyres go on soon. Lap 16 then here at Spa-Francorchamps. It's been a fascinating race so far. We've seen some really good battles, especially up in the front. Thankfully, despite the number of runners, we don't have that 2-spreader field. And the top 5 at least could all be coming together very shortly. Maybe a top 6, given that Casper has taken half a second out of Schnitzel already on this lap alone. So the Williams teammates, well, the simple formula is if they battle too much, then they will be caught. But if they sort of hold station in a 1-2, isn't more of a possibility. But then that's not what we want to see. We want to see battling to the end between teammates. No team orders. That's what we want to see in real racing, let alone esports. And here we go then. Roy getting a really good exit on that straight line speed in DRS. And there's yellows in sector 1. As Nicholas Mateo made a mistake. Yeah, Nicholas Mateo has gone off at Eau Rouge and Radion. Oh, he's completely lost it. If he can keep the car going though, and he retires. I don't understand that. He's on for guaranteed points. I guess he just got so frustrated with what has happened, so that's Lee Finney up to 7th, but I don't understand that. When you've got a guaranteed points position, it's better than nothing. I mean, there's 4 drivers in the Championship standings who haven't even scored a point this season, and they would have loved to be in that position at 9th place. But there you go, that's our 6th retirement of the race as we start to approach the closing stages of this Belgian Grand Prix in Tier 1 of Apex Online Racing on PS4. 2.8 seconds, Jarno not exactly closing the gap down, but Casper has mighty pace. He's now taken a second out of Schnitzel in the last 2 laps. Fastest lap of the race is a 1:44.349. Casper is only 2/10 off that pace. I wonder what the likes of Demon, who haven't scored points this season, are thinking about this. They may have wished they'd raced tonight because they would have probably had a guaranteed points finish given the way this has turned out. Yeah, excuse me. Let's have a look at Lucas. Well, this battle's getting very close indeed, and Jarno's not had a good exit clearly from the La Source hairpin. Oh my goodness, that was a lot of balls there to keep the floor pedal to the floor. And look at that, Schnitzel right behind him. It's almost 3 wide. Schnitzel gets past his teammate, and is that a sign that those medium tyres are starting to come to the fore? Getting the better of his teammate, and now he's going to be chasing him after Lucas. So Schnitzel, for so many laps, especially after being held in the pits for so long, is losing ground in terms of his championship lead, but now has the opportunity to get back ahead of both his championship rivals and extend his championship lead by getting onto the podium. So the laps are starting to count down, and given the battling they're doing, I think there's 2 separate battles here, one for the race lead and one for the final spot on the podium. Casper is now within 2 seconds of these 3. As Lucas runs really wide just before the entry to Stavalo. This has been, despite the number of drivers who are not running or have retired, this is turning into quite a thrilling conclusion for all 3 steps on the podium. But, you know, I tell you what, I'd love to see Casper get on the podium, because strategy-wise, you know, starting on the medium is just so slow at first, but he's really making it work. He's got to get some overtaking done. I don't think the likes of Jan and Schnitzel and Lucas would have expected to be battling Casper at this stage of the race. But we're going to go to the top 2 because Michael very close behind his teammate as we head down for the 19th time to Eau Rouge and Radion. What kind of exit did he get? Roy getting slightly out of shape. Back of the car complaining just a little bit. Will Roy defending? He's got to cover the inside. Michael puts power down, almost nudging him around the corner. They almost came together there. Schnitzel still following in behind. His teammate is right there. So 11 laps Lucas has done now on those softs, 10 for Jarno. The softs are really going to start to struggle now. You can tell because Lucas's pace has dropped off somewhat. They're now over 3 seconds away from Michael in P2. The top 2 fly through Pouhon once again. So entering Stavalo through the end of sector 2, and actually a really good exit from Roy. That may prevent Michael from challenging through Blanchimont. It's getting slightly closer, but let's have a look at Jarno. All 3 of these drivers now entering this section of the track. Kind of a decent spread between the 3 now. But look, Casper is right there. He's got the podium in his sight. Well, if he can get on the podium, then he would surely be overwhelming favourite for driver of the day. And those of you watching in the chat enjoying this race, let us know once the race is over who your nomination for driver of the day is. The 2 Williams drivers heading through. 3 to go then here at Spa. Up through Radion and Eau Rouge they go. Now Michael getting closer. He's saved a bit of battery, and he's surely going to go for a move here. Yes, he is. To the inside of Lecombe, and it's a relatively simple move in the end. And into the lead he goes again. Lucas still fending off the two Renaults and the Haas. Back to Michael again. Michael leading the race here. Looking for what would be his first win of the season. His first win since last season. And in some ways it has been coming. He finished third at Britain, second at Germany, but he wants the top step of the podium this time. But his teammate Roy, he's desperate for it as well. No podium at all this season, a best fourth place in China. No points last week in Germany. He'll be desperate to get this race victory just to restore some confidence. We're going into Blanchimont once again. Ooh, running slightly wide, almost risking contact with the barriers there, but got it. Foot to the floor once again. And now Michael. Going to have to do a bit more defending here, trying to cover the insides. Running slightly wide. He's going to go late on the brakes. Ooh, both of them get it slowed down. What's going on behind? Is Schnitzel able to get ahead? What about Casper? Casper right on the back of this train for the podium. Any penalty now for any of these drivers would be fatal for their chances of finishing in the top three. Roy now chases. You don't know where to look between these two battles, and I'm glad it's happened this way, because if this field had been spread out, this would have been a very dull race, but it hasn't worked out that way. Here comes Roy, chasing down his teammate once again, and surely they're going to be swapping positions. I'm desperate to see Schnitzel, but Schnitzel and Lucas are going side by side. What about up ahead? No, the Williams teammates are going to Schnitzel up to third position. That could be very important for the championship. Lucas down to fourth, Jarno in fifth still, Casper right there but unable to make a move. Oh, and Schnitzel running wide. But no effect to his, may scrub his tyres just a little bit. Penultimate lap then here at Spa. Michael, Roy fighting for first position. Then this four-way scrap for the podium. Schnitzel, Lucas, Jarno and Casper. As I mentioned half a lap ago, if anyone gets it, oh, and Schnitzel getting all out of shape. And Lucas dropping back actually. I think Lucas may be in a bit of trouble. I think those soft tyres may be reaching the very end of their good life. I mean, in terms of tyre wear, it won't be a problem. In terms of performance, if he drops out of DRS range now, he's going to be swamped on the final lap. Can Casper make any inroads and get his best result of the season? Or at least equal it? Here comes Jarno trying to get around the outside Lucas, and this will actually be really good news for Schnitzel if this happens. Round the outside goes Jarno, and what a move that is. Brilliant move there to get up to P4. Lucas drops down to P5. We'll have DRS. We're going to go straight back to the battle for the lead. Michael trying to defend desperately from his teammate. This is probably the last opportunity Roy can have to win this race. After Rouge and Radion for the final time, the crowd rising to applaud what has been a thrilling race here at Spa. Michael surely got to cover the inside. He's not going to cover the inside. And that means Roy is going to take the lead of the race on the final lap. Right behind Jarno and Lucas and Casper. Almost free wide into Lecombe. Oh, and slight contact. I'm not sure if Casper picked up some damage there. May have picked up a little bit of end plate damage. Schnitzel powering away in third, and surely he's got third done and dusted. Let's have a look at Michael. Michael chasing down his teammate, who'll have one more opportunity in Blanchimont to retake the lead of this race. Lucas dropping further and further away. Is another championship beginning to slip away from his grasp? Because at the moment Schnitzel will be extending the lead in the championship once again. Casper trying to get past. May have one more opportunity in Blanchimont. Let's have a look at the top two, because the top two are entering Blanchimont for the final time. Can Michael make a move on the final lap? This could be heading for the line, folks. Michael, is he close enough for a last-minute lunge? Doesn't really have any battery left. Gets the car slowed down. Casper is going for a move on Lucas. Oh, he had half a chance, but it's going to be Roy who is going to win here at Belgium, barring penalties. And yes, Roy has won the Belgian Grand Prix, and behind Casper has gone off track slightly, but will pick up P5 from Lucas. Schnitzel on the podium, but what a race it has been for Williams. It's a Williams run too here at Spa. Well, I'm sure going into this race, Roy would not have expected that, but what a qualifying and what a race for the Williams drivers. And Roy will be punching the air with delight, not just in the game, but wherever he is right now. So 2 Williams drivers on the podium, but most importantly for the championship, Schnitzel has got a podium which may well put him in a position where he cannot be caught. Barring a complete disaster in the final 3 races, Schnitzel playing for percentages today, didn't quite have the strategy, got not helped by being held up in the pit lane of course, didn't quite have the luck perhaps to battle for the lead, but he still gets 3rd place here. So let's have a look then at the results for this Grand Prix, and it is a Williams 1-2. Roy taking the victory from Michael, the best result of the season for Williams, double podium. Schnitzel in 3rd, and then another race where both Renaults haven't finished on the podium, 2nd in a row. And now Jarno in P4, so really good points for Renault. They haven't sealed the Constructors' Championship today, but they are still in good control. But Williams have closed the gap somewhat. Casper in 5th with a superb drive from P12. Stewards may have a look at that incident on the final lap though, where Casper did go off track to maintain that position. P6 for Lucas, Lee Finley in P7, a solid drive. And your final finisher of only 8, Davidos. We had a lot of retirements today. We had 6 retirements in total, including the likes of Hugo, Flying Finn, Ruben, Paris and Maxwell. A pretty bad race for Ferrari, both of them retiring. But a pretty enjoyable race, I think you will agree, here at Belgium. And well, the next race we will be going to will be same time, first race of June, which is the Italian Grand Prix of the Temple Speed, which will be our final European race of the season before we go on a break week, and then a double header to finish the season, the Japanese and Brazilian Grand Prix. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's race. It's been a really good race here today, and a fitting tribute to Niki Lauda, who we dedicate this particular broadcast to. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Apex Online Racing.